Hey, what's going on, YouTube world? Welcome back to the channel. As always, thank you for tuning in. I'm Dusty, that's Maddie, and this is the Shred Academy. Quick interjection with crappy video, but it's late and I'm editing, and I really didn't want to overlook Kevin Bennett and Oliver Malin. Thanks so much for your PayPal tips. I gotta tell you guys, when I get those, that enabled me to feed my dog for the next 3 weeks and then get groceries. We're a really small growing channel, and we really do rely on those types of things to help kind of get us above what little we make through our ad revenue, which goes directly to making van payments. Thanks. Let's get back to it. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that affects us all as riders as we travel from different riding location to riding location. And that's going to be jump construction. How steep the lip is, how tall it is, how long the jump, landing. Now, there's no standard for mountain bike trail building per se, but there's definitely methods to building things that set riders up for success. Now, there are professional trail building companies, and then you have your local trail builders who do things, for free, volunteer, and they have their own background, whether it be a BMX background or just got into it through wanting to help their local trails. And then if you want to take it one more step farther, you've got specific dirt jumps that are built for your BMX and mountain bike dirt jumpers. Short wheelbase, very little to no suspension. And then you have mountain bike trails with jumps that are kind of built for mountain bikes. Now, you can take a dirt jumper or a mountain bike on dirt jumps. It's possible, you can totally make it happen. It's harder, right? It definitely is not the same. And I am very much of the belief that I want to see mountain bike jumps on my mountain bike trails. Please don't build your straight up vertical style jumps that are only 2 feet tall on a mountain bike trail. It's not helping anyone, and just being the type of builder that goes, oh, if you can't do it, holy crap. Please walk away from the mountain bike trails and let someone that wants to help nurture the sport take over your position and go find a spot back in the woods like we used to in the 90s, and you can be a dictator there. But give credit where credit's due. It takes a lot of man hours to build anything, and we applaud all of you. Thank you for making all these trail systems. Now, their different backgrounds can affect how they build their jumps, which is what we're talking about today. It affects everything how they build, but specifically today, jumps. Now, if you have someone with more of a BMX background, you're gonna find that they build things with a sharper radius, more steep, and they wanna go more up and down. If you get somebody who is purely a mountain biker, they're definitely gonna build things a little more mellow, feeling like, you kind of wanna go farther in the arc than higher. And then you have people that kind of meld the two together, and you can get really big arcs but go the distance. But when you get somewhere and things are just built poorly, unfortunately, it really makes it hard for you. So let's kind of go ahead and break down all the different kind of lip constructions and some jump stuff, and maybe give you a little more knowledge of how to approach these things and maybe why things are getting built that way. And maybe you can talk to your local trail system and try to get involved and help take things in another direction. A lot of local trail builders do not want to hear you say, hey, why don't you do this, without you coming to help. I hear you, dig to ride. Not everyone has the time for that. So if you are a trail builder right now and you're seeing your, I got it, relax. I've been there. Please don't message me with, you know what I do. So with all that said, let's get to some bike riding, because all these cars are probably making it hard for you to hear me. All right, in this first breakdown, we're differentiating between dirt jumps, which you see here, Sam Pilgrim, versus mountain bike jumps here, smaller ones and bigger ones. Now, just like mountain bike jump trails, there are different levels. We have the smallest level here, medium level, and the biggest level here. Now, the main difference between a dirt jump and a mountain bike jump is honestly the angle of the lip. So right here, we're gonna stop. Now, these lips are probably only, this one maybe 4 feet off the ground. This back one might only be 5 feet off the ground, but they go to almost 90 degrees by the top. So what that means is this radius here is super sharp. So the time you're going from flat and transitioning up is very quick. And on a dirt jumper or a BMX bike, this transition is actually a lot smoother because you're not fighting the rear suspension from digging in. Now, that's not to say that it can't be done. It can be done, it is done, but it definitely takes a lot more effort and not as easy for beginners to learn on, and they do feel a sense of buckiness when trying to do those jumps. Now, this jump is about, we'll say, another 4 feet off the ground, but the lip is a whole lot more mellow. I don't know what degree this is, but it's definitely not 90. It might even be less than a 45. And you can see as I go off of it, my body position and bike position are a lot, we'll say, less than having to be back a whole lot farther because this lip goes a whole lot steeper, making it a lot easier for entry-level riders to get the distinction between going from flat treaded trail up the transition and off the jump. Now, this next jump is on a mountain bike trail, but again, the jump is much taller. This one actually stands, I want to say, from flat bottom to top, probably stands about 10 feet tall. You're going to go much higher at this with trail speed. But again, notice the angle of the lip as it takes off. It's still not your dirt jump 90. Now, what this longer lip provides is a nice smoother transition up to this steeper angle. Even if this jump were a little steeper, we'll say even that, there is a whole lot more time for you to be traveling flat and then gradually meet into this transition here. So to sum up, the main difference between a dirt jump and a mountain bike jump specifically is its radius and its height. Most mountain bike jumps have a lot greater radius, and BMX jumps have a lot steeper radius in a shorter distance. Okay, we have differentiated between specific dirt jump and BMX jumps, and then we have our specific mountain bike jumps built for our mountain bike jumps. Now, what happens when we go to our local trails and we have jumps built by volunteers, maybe with a BMX background, and maybe that's it. Maybe not so much professional building going on in that park, which honestly does matter, but again, we appreciate volunteers. A lot of trail systems wouldn't happen without them, so this is no knock against any volunteers. So what's happening here and what makes these small lippy jumps so hard is that all your transition more or less happens in one place. There, and then right there for this one. It's not a nice gradual transition, okay, that your bike is going to have a lot of time to set in and go through. The rider is having to go from riding straight down the trail and then taking off at more or less in these jumps a little less than 90 degrees, literally in that half of a bike length right here, wham, right? And then really quickly when they're doing this direction change, they've got to then put their body in a position where they can counteract or counterweight rather this front wheel to keep going up at the angle of the jump, because if they don't, that front wheel is just going to dive and that rear suspension is going to get packed up, and that's where they're going to feel the big buck feeling.
right? And they've got to put their body in a position which is usually behind that rear axle, behind this balance point here. And that is the scary part for intermediate riders, which a lot of our local jump trails and mountain bike trails with jumps on them are geared to. So having this style of jump built, I don't feel is helping anyone. It's actually making it harder for riders to get proper technique. And that's where maybe even having our old BMX riders that have the mentality of we just go off of it. It's been like this way since the 90s, whatever. The negativity is endless. I really feel like this is where a standard of mountain bike jump building needs to come into place. My suggestion for this, even just these 3 set of jumps, let's not talk about this park and already having its specific dirt jumps, so these jumps should be mountain bike specific. Let's say I don't know all that. I would take this jump right here, which is more or less useless for anything other than a BMX bike, because it creates a whole lot more problems for jumpers, again, because their bike doesn't fit on this transition. It's really making it more difficult for them than it is easy. So take this dirt here, mellow out this lip, make the lip taller, okay, and mellow out that lip so they're still feeling like they're getting that height. And then you can make the landing a little mellower and longer as well. And then there's a bigger sweet spot for these intermediate riders to find. So that way, when they come to these steeper style jumps at other parks, what have you, they're going to feel like they have more control over the bike because they were given the opportunity on their intermediate jumps. Just giving them steep intermediate jumps and telling them to deal with it isn't how to be an ambassador for trail building or the sport. Now, moving further along, you'll come to a jump like this on your local trail system. If you come to this jump, let's talk about the problems you might find and how to overcome these things is honestly just to practice. The more you practice on subpar jumps, the better you're going to be when you get to a properly built jump, because you're not going to have to combat the issues you're finding here, which is this fast transition and accepting it. If you look at this here, we'll say that this jump goes up, at this angle, right? And then midway through, we're going to fall, probably at the same angle. Okay. Now, what I find an issue with this one is that, for one, really short lip. Okay, I can get over that. It's not too mellow. But even with a smaller arc, this landing is like half the length of the takeoff. So your bike isn't going to fit on it. Again, use this opportunity to turn lemons into lemonade. And this is where you're going to practice rolling that bar forward, right? Because you had good form that you learned in my J-Hop video, which you found in my catalog. And you're going to be able to angle this front tire down so it rolls down first. You can pump through the transition. And then by the time this rear tire gets there, you're going to be able to do the same thing. So let's play this forward. Right? Even my front tire is overshooting it. Pump through, right? And then the back tire sets on. It's going to be hard not to case something like this because your whole bike doesn't fit on it. Again, going back to a standardized method of building jumps on your public to your, your private bike parks like Whistler and all of them. They do a really good job of making them mountain bike specific. So to finish this little segment out, I would say there's nothing you can do other than to practice here and make sure that you're using your body as a counterweight. And if you look at how far my hips are behind that rear axle, this is again what makes it so difficult for intermediate riders to learn. A longer lip, they're going to have more time to get from here, like body position here, to this body position. And it's going to make them feel comfortable and grow faster, which might lead to, yes, a longer tabletop, right? And maybe a longer landing, which takes more material, I'm aware of. But get rid of another crappy jump and make one good jump. Or there are other building techniques that can be used. You can bury logs inside of jumps at public parks. Yes, they are going to degrade, but they're going to change in 3 years anyway when something gets rebuilt. Just make sure they're covered correctly. You shouldn't see them. Okay, rant over. Let's go to another clip.
To those of you that have made it this far in the video, I applaud you and thanks for watching. This is the second to last, and in this one, we're going to talk about what happens when we're riding down a trail that, you know, we feel like we know the jumps, and then we just hit a weird lippy one. And if you didn't catch it before, that was one of them. That's not, but let's go back here. We'll take a quick gander. This one, super chillin'. We got a nice little whip out of it. Now, this one right here, okay, I will say if you look at my body position, I may not be in the greatest body position, but this one caught me off guard because it was actually, it's not that literally tall, but the transition was really quick in it, and you can see me get bucked right there, and I'm in the front seat. I'm trying to control it by doing this little movement, but watch how front heavy I land. Like, I'm in that front seat hard right there, admittedly. All right, and we come down to this next one. Now, if you're asking why I'm setting up so wide, is I like to carve up the lip. It kind of also helps take away the sheer straight up and straight down style of jumps that sometimes get built. And literally, guys, sometimes the trail speed is just too much. And that's kind of what happened to me here in this one. I really feel like the trail speed was just, it got me, and I wasn't prepared for how steep the lip was going to be. I modulated my speed for the next one. That one got a little bucky as well. Let's go back. We'll have a quick look at that one. Watch as I go off. I start to lean off the lip. We're going to kind of whip scrub, if you will, because we're trying to kill speed without hitting the brakes. But let's see if you can see me get bucked. Right there, you can kind of almost see the rear suspension kind of kick, and that really sets me up to kind of feel like I'm getting bucked forward. And I really, right here, this is full on, like, okay, let's not go over the bars, which I'm sure you've all felt. And this is Black Magic in Vermont. Super well-built trail. So like, if you've ridden this trail and you're like, man, I'm getting bucked on it, I would say try to slow down. I felt like my trail speed on this one was just super fast. And even this video was honestly from a year ago. I lost the footage from this year, but it's all the same. The lips, honestly, this year were a little steeper. But again, you just had to slow down your trail speed, and everything worked out much better. The lips are super long. The transitions are really drawn out. So the radius itself, like radius is a circle. All right, so now let's go check out. Finally, you've made it to the last clip. And this one, man, this guy's a booter. This is at this year's 2024 Nationals Whip-Off. And this thing stands, gotta be 15, almost 20 feet off the ground. Look at how tiny this guy is down here. This is, look at the Red Bull truck, how tiny it is compared to that. Now, let's watch this Grom come in to this jump here. There he is. Okay. Let's check him out, but before he gets to this guy, see him right here? Super chillin'. As he goes through, look, right then, he's basically his body preload, okay? And he's basically now accepting the transition.
Let's find out where he starts his body motion. Oh, man. It literally is half a bike length before the edge. And then he is setting his body back, counterweighting, man, laying down a fat whip. This kid is sending it. I wish I could give you this kid's Instagram, but if you know who he is, you saw him, like, definitely tag him in the comments, because he showed everybody how it was done. I guess the moral of this clip is that when you have a jump that isn't straight up and it's kind of built with a radius that accepts the mountain bike, this kid literally goes probably, let's clear that out. This kid probably goes a good 10 feet above the lip, right? So, and that's done with, speed, but also his accepting this transition, and the transition not just being whoop-bam. So, all jumps are not created equal. They all can be fun. I do believe some can be more fun than others, but I hope you guys enjoyed this.
Okay, so maybe I did it again, sort of. This time I actually deleted the outro when I was getting ready to go night ride tonight at Port Jervis, so hopefully you guys get to see that footage, or the delete was all in vain. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all your views and subscriptions. If this video helped, please leave a comment. If you feel like I left something out, let me know. I'm glad to make another one and keep making my content better. We're always looking for more Patreons. We're looking for 100 paid Patreons. Every little bit you guys send me really helps me get to the next day and next video. So thanks to everyone who sends me the tips through PayPal. They really support, they really help out a lot. Patreons, everything. We'll see you guys in the next video. Ride hard, ride safe. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We're all in this together. I'll see you on the trails. 37%.
And you got space?
We're good.
Nope. Dusty Locks in the house.
Come on. Damn it. Okay.